Well, we are excited to have this next guest. She is the Free Press reporter Tanya Lukyanova. She spoke to the suspect just last year in a video interview on March 7th, 2023. When this happened and his name came out and maybe saw the photo, when did you realize, oh, I talked to him?
I got a call from Ben Smith, the editor-in-chief of Semaphore, last night when he told me that, remember that guy that you interviewed last year for your story? Well, it turns out that he's now in custody and he's been identified as the suspect. It would be assassin of former president. That's when it clicked for me that that's what happened.
Did you remember him?
I instantly remembered him. He was a very colorful personality when I interviewed him. I was working on a story about the US-trained elite Afghan commandos who wanted to join the Ukraine war effort. And he created something called the International Volunteer Legion, which was this liaison between international fighters who want to join Ukraine effort and Ukrainian Defense Ministry and other various government organizations. And he was doing a lot of work for them. Actually, he traveled to Ukraine and lived there for 5 months. And so he was a source from inside the Ukrainian government, gave me his contact info as one of the most active, volunteers working in this area of bringing international fighters.
What was he doing in Washington, D.C.?
He was, what he told me is he was meeting with some unidentified lawmakers to try to push sort of more, push the United States government to, ease the path for international volunteers to come to Ukraine.
Did he actually have meetings with lawmakers?
Not that I'm aware of, but he was at the Capitol for that reason, he told me in the interview.
How did you find his demeanor at the time? He
seemed off. I mean, if you look at the video interview, you can, it looks like it's a scene out of a Coen Brothers movie. He seems distraught, but then at the same time, he wasn't even the most colorful of the personalities that I spoke to as part of the story, because, if you are working in this area.
Did he express any political views to you?
He did not, except for he really supported the Ukrainian cause. He was really pushing for the U.S. to do more to help Ukraine. Beyond that, he did not express any political.
So I don't know if it was your interview last night. It runs about 11 minutes long. If it was, tell me. But he was dressed in red, white, and blue outfits. Was that your interview?
I did a video with him. He appears there for maybe a couple of minutes, but the backdrop of the U.S. Capitol. Where he's wearing.
So this must have been different. He supported Ukraine.
Right.
He supported Taiwan. I believe he supported the Palestinians. What does he believe?
I am not entirely certain. I actually wasn't following much him afterwards. He was a source for one of the stories that I did, and I corroborated his identity with Ukraine.
So you never talked to him again?
I never talked to him again. I didn't even know, until last night about his, political affiliations.
Tanya, we'll try and make sense of it together.
Yeah.
I mean, it even seems you, as an individual who spoke to him, you're still a little confounded, it appears.
Absolutely. It's. As I said, he never struck me as a would-be assassin of a former president. He just seemed like a little bit overzealous, but supporting the right cause.
Well, we'll find out who he was talking to and who was talking to him. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.